individually, like when you got to Ohio State, do you remember what those individual expectations and outside pressures were, as it relates to guys like Will Howard coming in, King Bounce coming in?
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was like being an individual kind of facing those kind of outside pressures?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. When I think all of us, will tell you that when we left high school, we all thought we were going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. When we got to campus, the first step, that we took on the field, which couldn't be farther from the truth for the majority of the players. So I think everybody kind of goes through their own growing pains, and I think for everybody it takes a little longer or maybe a little shorter than others. And having been here now for 4 years, I can say that for me, I feel like I played my best football the last 6 games of last season. And everyone always asks me why. I feel like it kind of took a little bit for me to start clicking on all cylinders, but really I just think that everyone develops at a different rate. And some people just aren't ready to make the plays, or maybe it just wasn't their time yet. And for me, I just kept my faith in God and kept working. Didn't get discouraged because I knew that what I was capable of. And eventually, I started playing the best football I possibly could. So I'm excited for this season.
Yeah, I think this happened each of the last 2 seasons. You've done this pretty big offensive transition. What was it like being Lansford back in 2022 versus 2023 last season?
Yeah, I think that whenever you play Wisconsin, you're playing a really, really tough team. Team that's going to run the ball. Coach Fickle does a great job with those guys. So we're always playing a great team. I think it's kind of wasn't really too much of a difference. For me, I can't really remember all the way back in 2022, but I can tell you that last year, I remember, we're facing a big offensive line, good running back, and everything against those guys matters because they could break a long run in a split second. So I just remember preparing for a physically, tough team, and a team with a bunch of good athletes as well.
Back into the first command to Ryan Day way back when.
Yeah.
Does it feel like you guys been through this journey together in a way?
Yeah, I think it definitely does. I think Coach Day is a coach that he's the only coach I'd want to play for in college football. I'd commit to him 100 times over if I could. So that's why, when we talk about coming back, a lot of us have felt like we're his first real recruiting class, and we kind of all felt like we let him down in a sense of not reaching the goals that we set out to do when we signed our name on the dotted line. So I think that, going through the things we've gone through the past, few years with Coach Day definitely feels like we've gone through it hand in hand.
It's almost like you almost committed twice because, coming back for this season, what was that like compared to rallying the class the first time around?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit different this time around, obviously, because, a lot of us had great opportunities to go to the next level, and, it was tough for a lot of us to decide to come back. And, it was obviously it's a dream of all of ours here playing at this level to play at the next level in the NFL, since we were little kids. So making that decision to forego playing in the NFL to come back for one more year at Ohio State was a very tough decision for a lot of guys and myself. So, we came back for one purpose and one goal, and that's to beat the team up north and win the national championship.
I'm going to ask you about that because having grown up in Ohio, going all the way back to the Woody Hayes days, I've talked to recruits that knew. You didn't mention the team by name, you said the team up north.
Yeah.
The first prior to always beat them. There are 3 M flags hanging over there for the last 3 championships. And I tried to ask your teammate over there if that bothered him. He said, I'm not thinking about any of that. And Mecca's like, no, he just sidestepped it. But how much does it burn with you that that's something that's got to be done?
Yeah, the past few years are definitely, 3 seasons that, we came up short against those guys. And, I'd be lying if I told you that it didn't burn a fire inside of us. So, definitely something that we think about, and we know what's at stake when we play those guys. All of our goals and aspirations for the season rides on that one game in November. And, they hate us, we hate them. That's the way it's got to be. That's the way we want it to be. So that's what makes that rivalry so fun. And we're just looking forward to that game this year.
I've always understood that the bar has always been set that high at Ohio State. And yet I have other people that say to me, don't you think Coach Day gets unfairly criticized because there have been surrounding circumstances with that game with the up north? But 3 losses are 3 losses, and even though you've probably beaten almost everybody else, that's where the bar is, or do you think he gets the raw deal?
Well, I think it's a tough thing to look at. I know, if you ask Coach Day, Coach Day's man enough to sit up here and tell you that that's part of the job he signed up to do. But me being a guy who would go to war for him any day, regardless of the topic, I think he gets wrongly criticized on a bunch of stuff. A bunch of junk came out after we lost to those guys a couple times about him not caring, which is just completely couldn't be more wrong. So I think he does get unfairly criticized at times, but like he said, he knows what he signed up to do, and we all signed up to do the same thing as well, and we've fallen short as well. So if anything, it doesn't go back on him, it goes back on us as players, and that's why we decided to come back.
Good luck this year. I'm going to enjoy it.
Thank you.
The guys who decided to come back and then 5 seasons after the others came out of the NFL, were those conversations where everybody made their own decision, or were you guys texting back and forth? You brought up the Michigan thing. Was that part of the conversation?
Yeah, I think that when we all decided to come back, I think I was the first guy to tell Coach Day I was coming back. I told him I was coming back before the bowl game, and I made a group chat, and we all were kind of texting and talking as the weeks and months after, or the weeks and days, I should say, after the Missouri game. We were talking about it, kind of here and there, and I was just throwing stuff in guys' ears, trying to talk to them about coming back and why we should come back and how much it would mean to the city if we came back, and to Ohio State, and being able to etch our names in a legacy here if we win a national championship and beat those guys up north. So it was kind of a collective group effort, and a lot of decision went into it, but everybody made their own decision what was best for them, and ultimately I'm glad that a lot of them decided to come back.
Jack, kind of a fun question for you. Obviously, we're starting around the new college football video game.
Yeah.
Tell me how excited you are about that game, and kind of talking about the environment. Obviously, the horseshoe's hard to play in the
Yeah.
stadium, leader going, but a place like Beauty Stadium, Happy Valley. Just kind of answer that.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, I'm sure like a lot of people here, like I grew up playing that game, was dying for it to come back, and it's surreal to be a part of the game its first year back. It's super cool, being able to play with the Buckeyes and play with myself. It's a unique experience. And also, like you said, going into other stadiums, it's fun to see, how loud and how EA views other stadiums compared to ours. So it's pretty unique.
What's your player rating?
What?
Do you know your scores for the game?
What's that?
Do you know your scores, your overall?
My overall? I know my overall is a 92. That's the first thing I looked at.
Do you know your speed?
No.
So you didn't even take a guess? Speed and strength. It's off.
Speed, I'm going to say my speed is an 86.
Wow. Yeah.
Was that right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, my strength is probably like a 92.
85.
85 strength?
Better than 92.
I need to get in contact with some of those guys from EA.
Is 92 correct? Do you think it's too low?
I think 92 is fair. Hopefully after the first few games it can get bumped up a little bit, but we'll see.
Is 85 fair?
For what, speed? No, I don't think so at all. I think they're doing me wrong by that 85 strength stuff, but I honestly don't know. We don't max out, so I wouldn't know.
What would JT's rating be?
Oh, it'd be upper 90s for sure. I think I've been trying to talk to JT about getting into the game, so we'll see. Hopefully we have some good news about him joining the game here soon.
Did you see anything about the producer being
Denzel
from
said in the
Michigan?
spring, basically natty or bust. That was you guys embraced that, right?
Yeah.
Expectations are always high at Ohio State. Does it feel different this
Yeah,
year?
I think when you come to Ohio State, and Coach Day says it all the time, that pressure is a privilege, and that's kind of been our motto for this summer, is that, we're in a blessed position. Every team in college football would love to be in the position we have with the team we got, with the coaching staff that's in place, and the expectations we have. Because when you have high expectations, it means you're relevant. And that means, people expect great things of you because of the players you have on the team and the coaches you have on staff. So, we don't really try to pay too much attention to it. We know it's there. We know what's at stake. We know what, our goals for this season are. And we bust our ass every day to reach those goals. So, but honestly, we keep those on the back burner for most of the time.
Jack, you had a really good defense last year. You didn't lose much, and you added Caleb and others. How much better can it get?
Yeah, I think it can get a lot better. I think that when you look at our team and all the guys that came back, being our third year in the system, I think that you guys all saw the jumps. I think we felt the jumps from our first year in Coach Knowles' system to our second year. And, going into our third season, we just feel that much more confident. We know the system that much more. We know what to expect out of Coach Knowles in certain situations. So I think that the mixture of those things is just going to help us play faster and more free and lead to bigger plays being made too.
Jack, you said you felt like you let Ryan down there when you came back. What was in that? I obviously didn't accomplish all your goals. You still have to make clear. What kind of was going through your mind?
I think it's just when I committed to Ohio State, we had just played in a national championship, coming off of 3 or 4 Big Ten championship wins, haven't lost to a team up north in 8-9 years, and then when my class gets there, it kind of reverses. And I think for me, being the type of guy I am, I think naturally I felt like I let not only Ryan Day down, but I let the city down. And so for me, it's all about coming back, and a lot of us, we all feel the same way too. Is that we weren't going to leave here without having one more shot at doing this the right way and leaving here better than what we came here for. So.
Jack, how do you think Ryan Day has sorry.
What was that?
I was just going to say, what would it mean for you to accomplish that, to get the goal fans?
Yeah, I mean everything. It mean everything to me. That's the main reason why we came back. You know what I mean? That's when we signed our name on, our letter of intent. That's what we were coming here to do. Especially me being from Columbus, it'd mean the world to me, and that's what I plan on doing this fall.
Jack, how has Ryan Day changed or grown as a coach since you first met him?
Yeah, I think he's grown a lot. I think that like the one guy said earlier, that we've went through some hard times at the Woody, some hard times in Columbus as a team and as a family. So I think that that naturally is gonna change you a little bit. It's gonna make you look at things a little different. And I think that one thing Coach Day's done a great job at is not changing who he is. I think that Coach Day, he's a phenomenal guy on and off the field, and regardless of the heat he took, fair or not, he remained the same and remained humble and confident in who he is. So that was big for us to see, and it was great for us to follow his lead on that.
For him to give up play calling duty is a big part of how he's made his name as a coach.
Yeah.
What do you think that says about him, the way he obviously thinks that's the best change for the program? He's sort of putting the program in front of himself. What does that say about him?
Yeah, I think it says a lot. I think it says that he's confident in the guys that he's hired around him to help him lead the offense. Chip Kelly being one of his mentors early on in his coaching career, having him come, I think that helped him and him giving his offense up, because it's kind of like giving away your baby, because he was such a good play caller for so long. But him identifying stuff that he needed to change and then following through with it has been huge, and it's going to help our team in a tremendous way.
Wisconsin native. What have you seen coming in the spring after his first season?
Yeah, I mean, Carson Hinsman is a phenomenal player. I think Carson Hinsman's got a lot of great football ahead of him. Super hard worker, really humble kid, and I'm excited to see how he does in fall camp. I'm really excited. He had a great offseason. Like I said, he's one of the hardest working guys on the team, so I'm really excited to see what he does this fall camp.
Jack, how did the loss to Missouri kind of change the psyche of the defense, the team, and the offense in particular?
Yeah, I think that that loss to Missouri was a hard one to take. They're a phenomenal. Not taking anything away from them, they're a great team and had a lot of great players. But in the sense of that, we had a chance to win the game on defense and we didn't. That kind of stings. I think we pretty much had them locked up for the whole game up until the end of the third quarter, where they hit a big deep shot, and it was kind of like the sword in our back. So it was depleting for us, and I think that gave us more fuel to come back and to get better than we were before.
Jack, focus on knowing that you had 3 sacks. It's kind of hard to improve on that. So what did you focus on?
Yeah, I mean, even though I had 3 sacks, there's a lot of things that I could have been better at in that game to help my team, and obviously we didn't win, so it's kind of all for naught. I'm just focused on becoming the best player I possibly can be. Week in and week out, working on everything in every part of my game, from the pass rush to the run stopping. So, I can say confidently that as a defensive line, as a defense, we're looking as best as we ever have. So.
Do you feel like something clicked for you personally at the end of last year, Jack? It seemed like you're playing good all year. Maybe I'm not off in my assessment. Do you feel like something clicked for you?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people forget that I didn't really play a whole lot of football my freshman and sophomore year. I played a good amount of snaps, but I think for everybody it's different. For me, as the more plays I played and the more games I got under my belt, the more confident I felt. And I think by the middle of the year, I kind of just said, I can play at this level with anybody. I'm just going to let it fly. And I think after that, I haven't looked back, and I'm looking forward to carrying that into this season.
When you were lining up around as much last year, with Jack, like the
previous
year, did that help? Just playing the one position?
Yeah, I think that playing just defense, getting back to just defensive end helped, definitely did. That's where I feel comfortable. That's where I feel like I excel at. So getting back to just that definitely helped. And but the first couple of years I was willing to do anything to help the team win.
When you were lining up in those situations with pass rusher more often last year, could you feel like what were some of the things you were doing maybe as the year progressed that like you could tell were sort of contributing to your ability to get to the quarterback?
Yeah, I think that my confidence just kept growing and growing. You know, when you start making plays, you know, it helps. And you know, I felt like early in the year, you know, there's a lot of plays that I could have made, and I was just a step away, or you know what I mean. I'd leave games like, man, I was this close to having a couple sacks. You know what I'm saying? So it's just staying true and then going to work and not getting your head down or you know, getting frustrated and letting it affect the way you carry on to the next couple of weeks. And I think that speaks to kind of a lot of us in the program. You know, a lot of us, you know, have started playing our best football towards the end of last season, like Jordan Hancock, and you know, obviously Lathan Ransom got injured but was playing great football last year before he did. Denzel had another great year last year, bouncing back from his sophomore year. So, you know, when you look at our defense as a whole, we're all growing in the right direction, playing our best ball. And we were already one of the best defenses in the country last year, so I think that this year, you know, our motto and our standard of Silver Bullets is to be the best. So that's what, you know, we're going on trying to put on the field.
All you know, on those plays where you were like a smidge, like those almost would be sacks, like were you just what happened? Were you just like almost there, and like it took like just having more comments to finish the play?
I think you know, I think it kind of goes. Sometimes the flow of the game, you know, doesn't really flow your way. You know what I mean? Sometimes there's not a lot of plays to be had, and you know, sometimes it is just making a play when, you know, it's there for the taking. So I think it's a little bit of both.
All you guys, especially the veterans, are dealing, embracing the pressure. How different is it for you as a Columbus guy? I mean,
Yeah.
You can't escape. You can't go there.
Right. I mean, for me, you know, I love it. I love that the Columbus, you know, takes Ohio State football so seriously, you know, because it's what I grew up doing. You know, I grew up going to school 3rd and 4th grade, you know, and that's all we talked about was Ohio State football. What happened that the previous weekend, or we can't believe that this or this didn't happen. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of what I grew up doing. So to me, you know, I don't know anything else. I don't know anything different. You know, I know for a lot of these guys, I can't believe how serious it, you know, people, no matter where, what you do around Columbus, you know, people always want to come up and say something, but it just speaks on the position we're in, how blessed we are, and how cool is it, you know, would it be to tell your younger self, you know, especially for me when I was this big, that, you know, one day you're going to start for Ohio State at defensive end. You know, it would have been a dream come true.
You were one of the guys, maybe the guy that when Denzel would come, people from all over the country, and not be told what it's like, but not experience it, say, hey, I'm from here. This is real.
Yeah, I mean, I try to tell these guys that, you know, that's the way it is. And they're like, yeah, you know, like, I'm used to it. Like being from back home, being a high-rated recruited guy, or, you know, maybe when they go back home now, having, you know, being a starter in a college football program, but they didn't understand how it was being in Columbus and playing for the Buckeyes. I think a lot of them have caught them off guard, and so it's been fun. It's been funny to see their reactions to it.
Jack, as a former 5-star recruit, came in early, you did all the stuff you're supposed to do. You saw the runway it takes to get to this point now. As a defensive lineman, we haven't really heard your opinion on Jeremiah Smith. What is it about him that makes him maybe different than you were as a 5-star recruit coming in early? What have you seen that makes him special?
There's a lot of things I can list. That kid is just special. I mean, that's the only word I can use to describe him. Having been in his shoes, meaning being a 5-star recruit and having a lot of hype surrounding him coming in, you know, I was like, man, like, you know, I just want to see him, you know, practice a couple times. You know, I don't want him to feel like, you know, if he doesn't play this year, or if he doesn't live up to the hype his freshman year, then, you know. But then I saw him for the first time at the first practice. I was like, holy shit, this kid's good. So, you know, he's a great young player. He's got a great future ahead of him. He's got a great head on his shoulders, very humble kid. So whatever he gets, he's earned and he's worked for. So I'm super excited for him.
Jack, you're obviously on the defensive side of the ball with Brian on the other side. You trust Chip with this side. You know, obviously.
But he said what?
You trust Chip with this side.
Okay, yeah.
Just, you know, from what you've seen about him kind of coming in and play calling and that, just, you know, how do you think they're changing things offensively for you guys? What have you seen from the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I think Chip Kelly brings a good little change up to what Coach Day's already doing. Being on the defense side of the ball, I can't really talk too much to how much he's going to change. You know, I haven't really seen too much, but I do know that, you know, he likes to run the football. You know, likes to play tough. He's got a bunch of different wrinkles and plays that he likes to run and install. So it's going to be fun to see how he elevates this offense, because, you know, we got the pieces, and you know, it's going to be really exciting to see what they do on that side of the ball this year.
Quarterback in particular come into the conference
Oh, man, that's tough. I think since we play him, definitely Dylan Gabriel of Oregon, I think that's definitely got to be up there just because, we're playing Oregon and he's a great quarterback. He's had a good career and, they got a really great team. So if I had to pick one, it'd be him.
Jack, you've been doing a lot of credit for a lot of these veteran guys who come back this year. Coach Day mentioned it during his presser. Was there a specific approach or pitch that you had for some of the other guys who could have gone to the NFL for them to come back for 2024?
For me, I just told those guys, look, man, when we came to Ohio State, we had all these goals and aspirations to achieve. And, don't get me wrong, I want to go to the NFL and chase my dream of that more than the next guy. But before we can chase that, we had something bigger at stake, something bigger than ourselves. Coach Day always talks about is leaving your legacy at the Ohio State, becoming one of the best teams to ever come through here. And my conversations to them were if we all decided to come back for our senior year, imagine the things that we could achieve. There's nothing we couldn't achieve. So I think that was my sales pitch is that, look, if we all decide to come back together, that, we're coming back to beat the team up north, win a national championship, win a Big Ten championship. So to me, that was the selling point to those guys.
What's it going to take for you to feel good about your legacy, all those things?
What is that again? Can you repeat that?
Yeah, what's it going to take for you to feel good about the legacy you're going to leave? Is it all those goals?
Yeah, I think it's all those goals. We came back for one last ride, and we got one last shot to do those things, because we haven't done it. Unfortunately, we haven't done any of those things since I've been here. So I think that, when we raise our heads after the season, if we completed all three of those things, it would have been a success.
Emeka has said that you guys haven't really won anything yet.
Right.
How much of that is fueling this offseason, this preseason you're going to go into, and then this season overall?
Yeah, it fuels us every day. I think, I wake up and thinking about it. I think about it every day. I haven't won a championship. I haven't beat the team up north, and you walk around the Woody and all you see is championships and championship posters and banners, and haven't been here for 3 years and not helped our team and this organization win any of those. It's something that wears on me, and it's something that motivates me every day.
Jack, who's the guy on the defensive line that maybe people aren't talking about now, but the season's like
I think one of the most underrated players on our team is Ty Hamilton at nose guard. I think that if you go back and watch his tape, you won't see anybody play as physical, play as hard, and do the things that he does on a play-to-play basis, taking a double team, knocking the center back 3 yards, making them have to bounce, and then, easy cleanup for me, myself, JT, or a linebacker. So I think Ty Hamilton's due for a really big year, and I'm excited to see him get some of the props that he deserves. I didn't even do that on purpose. Maybe I did. No, but I think that we got we're so deep. We got such a great defensive line. We look at the guys that are behind us. Caden Curry, Kenyatta Jackson, Caden McDonald, Hero Canoe, Taiwan. Everybody. On our defensive line, and those young guys are going to have great careers, here at Ohio State, and a lot of those guys are going to be playing a lot of football in the NFL too.
I just feel like I'm seeing more and more buzz kind of about Josh Simmons and maybe the growth that he can make this year. Draft people, someone who gets to go against him in practice. How have you seen him kind of make strides over the last year or so? Yeah,
he's an athletic freak. He's one of the most explosive guys that I've been around. I think he kind of realizes that too, and he's a guy who's got really good feet for being that size. I've only gone up against a handful of guys who have feet that good, being that size. One of them is Paris Johnson. So I think he's finally realized what he's capable of and how important he is to our team's success. When you got a guy that's as big and strong as he is at tackle, that can open up run lanes and shut down guys on the blind side of our quarterback. So I think that he's one of the guys where, man, he's got a lot of potential that he's tapping into right now.
Jack, what tells you that the chemistry on this team that you guys were talking about is real? How does it show up every day, I guess?
Yeah.
I guess a common purpose. How would you describe it?
Yeah, I think that the chemistry that we have with this team, it kind of speaks to how we all came back. I think if you look around programs across the country, you got 11 to 15 guys who could go pro and be drafted. A lot of those guys are gonna leave and go to the pros. And we all decided to come back and play another year here at Ohio State. So that in itself speaks to the brotherhood that we have with each other. But then again, just the camaraderie we have on a day-to-day basis in the weight room and outside of the Woody, And you know, I'm really excited for you guys to be able to see, you know, how far we've come this fall.
That's
enough. Sorry, we gotta go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, Jack.